The tension in the air was so thick you could almost cut it with a knife. And it all began with a single, chilling declaration. "Rasheea, step aside, I'm Mrs. Kirk now." Fans are still reeling from Jasmine's brazen claim, and the internet has exploded with speculation, memes, and relentless commentary. Social media feeds are flooded with shocked reactions, emojis flooding timelines as fans debate whether this is bold confidence or sheer audacity. You could feel the atmosphere crackling with suspense as whispers of betrayal, heartbreak, and scandal swirled around the people closest to Kirk. Friends, family, and loyal followers were left stunned, unsure of what to believe, as the world watched a storm unfold that promised to shake the foundations of a household long thought untouchable. Emotions ran high, alliances were questioned, and the family was left divided, each member grappling with loyalty, love, and trust in the midst of chaos. Every glance, every whispered conversation, seemed loaded with hidden meanings. And fans are desperate to know what happens next. Will Rasheea confront Jasmine directly? How will Kirk respond to this public declaration? And most importantly, is this the beginning of a new chapter, or a catastrophic collapse that no one saw coming? Tonight, we dive into a story dripping with tension, heartbreak, and scandal, where every word, every gesture, could ignite the next explosive moment. You won't believe the drama that's about to unfold. The room fell silent the moment Jasmine walked in, her heels clicking against the marble floor with a confidence that sent shivers down everyone's spine. She paused in the doorway, surveying the scene. Rasheea seated on the plush cream sofa, her expression a mixture of disbelief and simmering anger. Kirk standing by the bar, nervously sipping a glass of scotch, unsure whether to speak or hide, and a few family friends and staff who had arrived earlier, frozen mid-step, sensing that history was about to be made. Jasmine's eyes locked onto Rasheeda's, a fiery determination burning in her gaze. "Rasheea, step aside, I'm Mrs. Kirk now," she said, each word dripping with boldness and defiance, as if the universe itself had aligned to grant her this audacious moment. The declaration echoed through the room like a clap of thunder, and for a second, no one breathed. Fans had predicted tension, but nothing could prepare them for the sheer audacity of this confrontation. Rasheeda's lips parted, a gasp escaping before she could control it, and then a tremor of fury overtook her. "Excuse me, did you just say what I think you said?" she shot back, her voice shaking yet piercing, cutting through the thick air of tension. Kirk's eyes darted between the two women, panic rising. Realizing that the situation was spiraling far beyond anything he could manage. His friends whispered among themselves, uncertain whether to intervene or let the storm play out, while onlookers on social media had already begun live-streaming snippets of the moment, causing fans around the world to watch in real time as emotions ran higher than anyone anticipated. Jasmine's lips curled into a small, almost predatory smile. "I said exactly what you heard. I am the one Kirk chose, Rasheea. It's time for you to accept it." Every syllable was precise, deliberate, meant to wound, meant to assert dominance, and meant to make everyone in the room question their loyalties. Rasheeda's heart pounded, memories of laughter, tears, and shared dreams flashing through her mind, colliding violently with the realization that her world was on the brink of upheaval. "Chosen," she repeated, disbelief etched across her features. "You think Kirk would just pick someone over me?" After everything, the words barely left her mouth when Kirk finally found his voice, his tone anxious and wavering. "Rasheea, Jasmine isn't saying this to hurt you. I." His hesitation was enough to spark another wave of tension. Jasmine rolled, her eyes, her patience thinning but her composure immaculate. Kirk. Don't start blaming me for your indecision. This is about clarity, about moving forward, and about me finally stepping into the role I was always meant to occupy." Gasps rippled through the room, friends shifting uncomfortably, unsure whether to speak, flee, or intervene. Rasheeda's hands clenched into fists, knuckles white, as anger surged through her. She could feel every eye on her, the weight of judgment, curiosity, and anticipation pressing down like a physical force. Her voice, when it returned, was low, controlled, and lethal. "Always meant to occupy. Jasmine, you don't understand loyalty, history, or love. You don't just walk in here and declare victory like this. You have no idea what it means to hold someone's heart through every storm. Every heartbreak, every late night when you thought you might lose them." Jasmine tilted her head slightly, as if listening to a faint, irrelevant whisper, and laughed softly, a sound that dripped with mockery and confidence. "Oh, I understand plenty, Rasheea. I understand ambition, determination, and knowing what you deserve, and what I deserve, I will not wait to claim. The tension was suffocating, a live wire ready to ignite. Kirk tried again, desperation creeping into his tone. Please, both of you, let's not do this here. Not like this. But the room had reached a tipping point, and his words fell like raindrops on a raging fire. Rasheea stood abruptly, her chair scraping against the floor, and for a moment, the world seemed to pause. Not like this? She spat, her voice trembling with fury and pain. This is exactly like this. I've been patient, I've been loyal, and now I'm expected to quietly step aside while you waltz in like a conqueror. Not happening. Jasmine's smile widened, unwavering, almost triumphant. Not happening. She echoed, her voice calm but sharp, a scalpel slicing through the charged atmosphere. Rasheea, you were always beautiful, intelligent, and endearing. But this is not about the past, it's about the present. And in the present, I am Mrs. Kirk. The sooner you accept it, the sooner the drama can end. Friends whispered. Staff looked uneasy. And Kirk's discomfort became palpable as the verbal battle escalated, each exchange more intense than the last. Accept it, Rasheea said, her voice breaking yet steadying as she gathered her strength. I don't think you understand what it takes to share a life, to build memories that are unshakable. You think a flashy declaration and some bold words erase history. Erase the love and loyalty that have been here for years. You think fans, friends, family will just stand by and let this happen. Jasmine leaned forward slightly, her eyes glinting. Like steel? History doesn't matter if it doesn't serve the future, Rasheea. Love is negotiable when opportunity calls, and loyalty can only stretch so far before it becomes a cage. I'm not here to break hearts. I'm here to claim what's been waiting for me. And make no mistake, Kirk agrees with me. That last statement sent shockwaves through the room. Kirk's eyes widened, caught between truth and self-preservation, and fans online immediately exploded, flooding social media with accusations, disbelief, and theories. The family was left divided. Some shook their heads in silent horror, others whispered that perhaps Jasmine was bold, maybe even clever, but ruthless in her ambition. Rasheeda's hands trembled slightly, a mixture of anger, sorrow, and defiance coursing through her veins. She took a deep breath, steadying herself before she responded with a voice that carried both pain and authority. Boldness without honor is nothing? Jasmine, you can claim words, but you cannot claim the heart that beats in love and history. Fans may be shocked now, but they will remember who stood by Kirk through the storms, who protected him when no one else would. And that is not a title you can steal with theatrics. Jasmine tilted her head, amused, as if entertained by defiance. Fans are fickle, loyalty is fragile, and history is often rewritten by those who take the courage to act. I'm acting, Rasheea. I'm here, I'm present, and I am unafraid. The verbal jousting continued, punctuated by dramatic pauses, shifting gazes, and the electric tension of a household caught in the eye of a storm. Each sentence, each glance, seemed calibrated to provoke a reaction, to test the limits of patience, and to push the boundaries of respect and civility. Kirk finally stepped forward, his hands raised in a futile gesture of peace. Enough, please. This isn't helping anyone. We can talk privately. But Jasmine cut him off with a steely glare. Privately? No, Kirk. If this is to be claimed, it must be public, visible, undeniable. The world must witness who I am now. And make no mistake, everyone here will remember this moment. Rasheeda's jaw tightened, a flicker of tears threatening to spill, but her pride held firm. She straightened her posture, meeting Jasmine's gaze head-on, then let them witness it. Let them see audacity, arrogance, and betrayal. Because love, trust, and history, those things cannot be claimed by words alone. And no matter how loud you shout, Jasmine, some things are unshakable. A heavy silence fell over the room. The energy was palpable, charged, and volatile, a living thing that seemed to thrum with the intensity of human emotion. Staff shuffled nervously, friends exchanged wary glances, and Kirk's mind raced. Trapped between the past and the explosive present, fans online had begun dissecting every movement, every facial expression, every syllable, live commenting, theorizing, and predicting what might happen next. Some praised Jasmine's courage, others condemned her audacity, but all were captivated, unable to look away from a real-life drama that felt larger than life. As the verbal duel continued, Rasheeda's voice softened slightly, laced with sorrow but still imbued with authority. You may have words, Jasmine, You may have confidence, but do not mistake my silence for weakness, my patience for submission. There are battles that are won with courage, and battles that are won with integrity. You may have the former, but you will never have the latter. Jasmine's smirk faltered, just slightly, before she recovered, her poise returning like armor. Integrity is subjective, Rasheea, courage is action. And I am taking my moment. The family will adjust, Kirk will adjust, and fans will adjust. History, as you call it, is fluid, and I intend to write the next chapter. With that, she turned, letting her words linger like smoke, and for a brief moment, the room seemed suspended in time. Every person present, every mind online, every fan glued to their screens, was caught in the vortex of tension, anticipation, and sheer spectacle. The storm had only just begun, and the world would be watching, waiting to see how this tale of audacity, betrayal, love, and ambition would unfold. Rasheea stood frozen, a hurricane of emotion raging within her. While Jasmine's presence radiated dominance and unshakable confidence, Kirk's indecision hovered like a shadow, a silent acknowledgement of a reality he may have feared but could no longer deny. Outside, the whispers, tweets, and comments multiplied, a digital echo chamber reflecting the chaos inside the house. The stage was set, the players poised, and the drama. Oh, the drama was far from over. Every eye, every thought, every heartbeat was aligned to witness the next move, the next word, the next explosive twist that would leave no one untouched, no heart unshaken, and no fan unmoved. The room seemed to vibrate with the promise of more confrontations, more revelations, and more shocking declarations that could change alliances, test loyalties, and redefine the narrative of love, ambition, and audacity. And just as the tension reached a crescendo, the first tremor of an unexpected revelation began to ripple through the air, hinting at secrets yet untold, alliances yet to be tested, and a storm that was only gathering its fiercest winds. The fans were watching, hearts racing, eyes glued to screens. The family was divided, emotions raw, and one thing was certain: nothing in this household would ever be the same again. Every glance, every whisper, every heartbeat carried the weight of a drama that promised to escalate beyond imagination. And as the sun dipped behind the horizon, casting long shadows across the room, a single question hung in the air. Unspoken but undeniable: who would emerge victorious when the night of confrontation finally reached its inevitable, explosive climax? The atmosphere had shifted, the room now heavy with an almost tangible tension, as if every breath drawn carried the weight of unspoken truths and simmering resentment. Rasheeda's gaze lingered on Jasmine, her mind racing through every shared memory, every moment of love, loyalty, and vulnerability that now seemed threatened by a force she had never anticipated. You think stepping in here, making declarations, and calling yourself Mrs. Kirk is enough? She demanded, her voice low, trembling slightly but edged with steel. Jasmine didn't flinch. Her posture remained impeccable, shoulders back, eyes sharp. It's more than enough, Rasheea. It's the only way forward. You've had your time. I've waited. Now it's my turn. The room seemed to constrict around them, every observer acutely aware that a tipping point had been reached. Kirk shifted uncomfortably, feeling the heat of their verbal duel like a live wire. Please, stop. Can we not talk like adults? His voice cracked under the strain, betraying the inner turmoil he tried so desperately to mask. Jasmine's smile was thin, almost condescending, but calm. Talk, Kirk. It's already been said. Words are not what define this moment. Action does, presence does, and I am here. Present, undeniable. The words hung in the air, provocative, electrifying, and impossible to ignore. Rasheeda's fists clenched tighter, a storm of emotions cascading through her, pain, fury, disbelief, and betrayal intertwined, forming a visceral reaction she could barely contain. Presence, she echoed, almost mockingly, her voice quivering with suppressed rage. Presence without respect, without loyalty, without understanding's meaningless. You may occupy the space, Jasmine, but the heart, the history, and the memories cannot be simply overwritten by your audacity. Jasmine tilted her head slightly, as though considering Rasheeda's words, and then responded with a chilling calmness. Audacity is what gets you remembered, Rasheea. Courage is what moves mountains. And in the world we live in, those who hesitate or cling to the past are left behind. I am moving forward. I am claiming what I want. And I will not wait for anyone's approval, least of all yours. The tension in the room intensified, thickening like smoke. Friends shifted uneasily, the air of discomfort palpable, while staff hovered at the edges, uncertain whether to intervene or remain invisible. Kirk's attempts to mediate only seemed to fan the flames. "This isn't helping anything. Both of you are making it worse," he protested, his voice tight, anxious. "Worse," Jasmine echoed, with an almost imperceptible smirk. "No, Kirk, this is clarity. This is truth. This is the world seeing who I am and where I stand. You don't get to complain when reality finally arrives." Rasheeda's eyes glimmered with a mixture of tears and defiance. Her voice, when it emerged, was trembling but commanding. "Reality isn't determined by loud proclamations, Jasmine. Reality is lived, felt, earned. And you may have the moment, but the essence, the depth, the meaning, that doesn't change because of words or bold gestures. People, fans, they will see through the theatrics. They will remember who stood firm when the storm hit, and I am not going anywhere quietly." Jasmine's posture stiffened, the first hint of surprise crossing her otherwise composed features. "You are unyielding," she admitted, her tone a mixture of intrigue and irritation. "I expected resistance, yes, but this is more than I anticipated." Rasheeda's chest heaved, emotions raw and unfiltered, and the room seemed to vibrate with the weight of unspoken history, the gravity of confrontations past, and the inevitable clash of present ambitions. Kirk rubbed his forehead, his mind spinning. "We are going in circles. Please, someone think before saying things that can't be taken back." But his pleas fell on deaf ears. Jasmine stepped closer to Rasheeda, eyes unwavering, her voice smooth yet edged with fire. "You think I fear your words, Rasheeda. You think I tremble before memories or claims of loyalty. No, I am here to live my life, claim my place, and no amount of hesitation, no amount of resistance, will change what I intend to accomplish." Rasheeda's voice rose, a crescendo of emotion that filled the room. "You speak of claiming life, Jasmine, but what you claim without heart, without understanding, without empathy, what kind of victory is that? Fans may be shocked now, yes, but they will remember who fought, who loved, who remained. And you are stepping into a world you cannot command with words alone." The exchange was electric, each statement a spark threatening to ignite an inferno of emotions. Friends and family exchanged uneasy glances, whispers of concern mingling with the crackling tension. As everyone recognized that this confrontation was no ordinary clash, it was a full-blown storm of loyalty, love, ambition, and betrayal. Kirk's attempts to intervene were growing increasingly frantic. "Enough, please, this isn't the time or place for theatrics," he exclaimed, voice breaking under pressure. Jasmine's glare pierced through him, dismissive and unwavering. "Kirk, the time is always now when truth needs to be seen. If clarity is theatrics, then I will perform. If visibility is audacity, then I will act. And if your indecision paralyzes you, so be it. I will not wait." Rasheeda's expression softened for a brief moment, her tone lowering, more sorrowful than angry. "I never wanted this, Jasmine. None of this, but you came in, armed with bold words and certainty, and demanded the impossible. You have disrupted a balance, shattered trust, and tested loyalty beyond measure. And yet, here we are, forced to face the consequences of your ambition." Jasmine stepped back slightly, considering Rasheeda's words, then smiled a small, triumphant, almost predatory smile. "Ambition is not a crime, Rasheeda. It is a declaration of intent, a willingness to take what is rightfully yours. And I am unafraid to be ambitious." The room seemed to pulse with every word, every glance, every unspoken thought. Fans online dissected every moment, theorizing about what might come next. Could Rasheeda find a way to reclaim her position, to assert her history and loyalty over Jasmine's audacity? Would Kirk finally make a decisive choice, or remain trapped in the paralyzing tension of indecision? The drama was unfolding in real time, captivating everyone who watched. A spectacle of raw emotion, confrontation, and unyielding determination. Rasheeda's voice broke through again, steady but dripping with emotion. "You may think this is about you, Jasmine. You may think this is about winning a title or asserting dominance. But life, love, and legacy aren't conquered with words alone. They are earned, nurtured, and protected. And no declaration, no audacity, can erase that." Jasmine tilted her head, intrigued, almost enjoying the verbal sparring. "Am both. I will not be denied what is mine." Kirk's frustration reached a breaking point, Please, enough. Can we stop this before it destroys everything? Jasmine's gaze softened momentarily, a calculated flicker of sympathy or, perhaps manipulation, before sharpening again. Kirk, if everything is destroyed, it is because it needed to be rebuilt. If hearts are shattered, it is because clarity demanded it. And if the world watches, they will see the truth. I am Mrs. Kirk. And no amount of hesitation or resistance will change that. The room fell into a tense, almost unbearable silence. Every soul present, every online viewer, every fan and follower, was holding their breath. Anticipating the next move, the next revelation, the next twist in a story that had already defied expectations. The air was thick, almost vibrating with the energy of confrontation, ambition, and unspoken history. Rasheeda's eyes glistened, her mind a whirlwind of emotion. Yet beneath the storm, a quiet, fierce resolve began to emerge. Then let them see, Jasmine, she said softly, her voice carrying the weight of unwavering conviction. Let them witness audacity, ambition, and bold claims. But remember, this heart, loyalty, and truth cannot be taken by proclamation alone. And when the smoke clears, when the world finally sees, who will truly stand unshaken, unbroken, and undeniable? The words lingered, heavy with meaning, as the first tremors of the next explosive chapter began to ripple through the room. Fans online erupted in commentary, debating, analyzing, and predicting the fallout. Alliances, loyalties, and hearts were all hanging in the balance. And one undeniable truth remained. The drama was far from over. Every glance, every whispered thought, every heartbeat was aligned to witness the next move, the next declaration, the next moment that would shape the future of this household and the world watching it unfold. The tension, now electric, was poised to explode into new revelations, betrayals, and shocking twists, promising a spectacle that no one would forget. And just as the room seemed suspended in anticipation, a sudden revelation, whispered yet explosive, began to emerge, a secret that could tilt the balance, ignite new confrontations, and redefine everything. The stage was set, the players poised, and the story was only beginning to unravel its next breathtaking chapter. The revelation had barely settled into the charged atmosphere when the first subtle tremors of chaos began to ripple outward. Rasheeda, still standing with her fists clenched, suddenly noticed a note slipped discreetly across the coffee table by one of the family friends who had arrived earlier, their hands trembling slightly, as if aware of the gravity of what they were delivering. The envelope, small but heavy with intent, bore no name, only the faintest smear of lipstick that suggested secrecy, intimacy, or perhaps provocation. Rasheeda's brow furrowed as she picked it up, the words inside already threatening to append. What little composure she had left. Jasmine, noticing her attention shift, leaned slightly forward, her eyes glinting with curiosity and calculated interest. What's that, Rasheeda? A fan letter? Or maybe a reminder that history isn't entirely yours to claim? Rasheeda's lips pressed tightly together, unspoken fury radiating in waves as she carefully unfolded the note. The content was shocking, detailing a whispered rumor, one that tied Kirk's past more intimately to Jasmine than anyone had dared to speculate publicly. Fans online, who had been glued to live feeds, erupted instantly, emojis flooding screens, hashtags trending within minutes, and a cacophony of shocked reactions overwhelming every platform. The family friends exchanged glances, unease apparent in their eyes, knowing that the slightest movement could ignite further chaos. Kirk's face paled, his confident facade crumbling under the weight of secrets and public scrutiny. Rasheeda, what does it say? He asked, voice barely above a whisper, hope and fear intertwined. Rasheeda's fingers trembled as she held the paper, the words almost too incendiary to believe. She looked up, her gaze sharp and unyielding. It seems, Kirk, that the past isn't quite as hidden as you hoped. And Jasmine, your timing is impeccable, diabolical, depending on how you see it. Jasmine smirked, a predator enjoying the unfolding scene, her eyes scanning the room, capturing every reaction, every flicker of tension. Impeccable, diabolical, let's call it strategic brilliance. The truth has a way of revealing itself, Rasheeda, and I am always ready to embrace it. Rasheeda's mind raced, a cyclone of emotion, strategy, and raw pain. The note confirmed what she had feared, that Jasmine had been more involved in Kirk's life than anyone had imagined, perhaps orchestrating moments, planting seeds, and waiting for the perfect opportunity to claim her audacious position. Every fan online was dissecting her expression, every subtle twitch and glance, creating waves of speculation that threatened to consume everyone involved. So all this, your audacity, your claim it wasn't spontaneous, Rasheea said, slowly, her voice icy, measured. It was calculated, planned, manipulated to perfection. Jasmine's eyes glittered with satisfaction. Planned, yes. Perfected, certainly. And effective. Undeniably. You see, Rasheea, life doesn't wait for hesitance. Love doesn't pause for reflection. The world rewards boldness, action, and clarity. And I have them all. Kirk's anxiety deepened, his hands running through his hair, each strand a metaphorical unraveling of the control he thought he had. This is getting out of hand, he muttered, pacing slightly, his mind torn between the past and the inexorable present. The room, already heavy with tension, seemed to quiver with the weight of impending confrontation. Rasheea's gaze hardened, determination replacing her initial shock. If this is a game, Jasmine, know that I am not a pawn to be manipulated. I will not be written out of this story so icily. The fans, the family, even Kirk, they will all see that. Audacity without respect is hollow. And I intend to prove it. Jasmine, for the first time, let a flicker of uncertainty pass across her features, quickly masked by a serene smile. Prove it, she echoed, curiosity mingling with challenge. Oh, Rasheea, I welcome your attempts. They will only make my victory more undeniable, my position more secure, and my story more compelling. Every act of defiance, every whisper of resistance, only sharpens the narrative, and fans love a narrative they can devour. The air seemed to crackle, every heartbeat synchronized with the drama unfolding in real time. Friends and staff were caught in the crossfire, their own loyalties tested as every word, glance, and pause carried the weight of imminent upheaval. Kirk, sensing the momentum slipping further from his control, raised his hands in desperation. Please, both of you, can't we contain this before it explodes completely? But his voice, weak and anxious, did little to stem the tide. Jasmine's presence was magnetic, commanding, and utterly unyielding. Containment is an illusion, Kirk. Control is temporary. And clarity, when demanded, will always find its way. I am the present, the undeniable, and the focus. The world is watching, and it is time they see the truth without filters or hesitation. Rasheea's eyes burned, her mind a whirlwind of emotion, intellect, and strategy. Then let them see. Jasmine, she said, voice low, resolute, and imbued with the gravity of unshakable conviction. Let them witness every act, every declaration, every attempt to claim what cannot simply be taken. And know this: history, loyalty, and love are forces that cannot be conjured or commanded. They are lived, earned, and protected. And I will not relinquish what is mine without a fight. The room seemed to hold its breath, every person, every camera lens, every fan online anticipating the next seismic move. The tension was palpable, the air vibrating with the potential of explosive confrontations, shocking revelations, and twists no one could foresee. And just as the intensity reached its zenith, a sudden, whispered revelation surfaced from the shadows of the room, a truth so shocking, so potentially game-changing that it threatened to upend the delicate balance of emotions and alliances. Entirely, a family friend, unable to contain the secret any longer, spoke softly but firmly. There's more. Something Kirk hasn't shared. Something that could change everything between all of you. Every eye turned, the room falling silent in the weight of anticipation. Kirk's face drained of color, his control slipping like sand through his fingers. Jasmine's smile faltered for a brief second, curiosity and tension flickering behind her composed mask. Rasheea's pulse quickened, her heart pounding with the realization that the story had just taken a turn even more dramatic than she could have predicted. Fans online erupted, live commenting, theorizing, and speculating about the revelation, each comment a ripple in the growing storm. Alliances would be tested, loyalties questioned, and hearts pushed to the brink as the unfolding narrative promised twists, betrayals, and emotional fireworks that no one could have anticipated. And in that charged moment, with every gaze locked, every heartbeat synchronized with the tension, one thing became abundantly clear: the drama was only escalating, the stakes higher than ever, and the next moves would define the trajectory of this explosive story in ways no one could yet predict. Every whisper, every glance, every calculated move carried the weight of destiny as Rasheea, Jasmine, and Kirk prepared to navigate a battlefield of emotion, ambition, and secrets that threatened to engulf them all. The storm had reached its apex, but the true chaos, the moments that would leave hearts broken, alliances shattered, and fans gasping, was only just beginning to unfold. And as the room held its collective breath, everyone, from family to friends, to online spectators, knew that nothing would ever be the same again. The whispered revelation lingered in the room like a shadow, each syllable carrying a weight that pressed down on every person present. Rasheeda's eyes narrowed, her instincts sharpening as she reached for the edge of the coffee table, grounding herself amid the chaos. "Kirk," she said, her voice low and charged, "what is this? What haven't you told us?" His hands fumbled nervously at his belt, hesitation painted clearly across his face. "It's complicated," he admitted, the words tasting bitter even as they left his mouth. Jasmine, sensing the vulnerability, stepped closer, her gaze predatory yet controlled, a subtle smirk playing on her lips. "Complicated. Kirk, we've all got our secrets, our pasts. But hiding the truth when clarity demands revelation only makes the outcome more dramatic." The comment sent a ripple of unease through the room. Rasheeda's jaw tightened. "This is exactly why you cannot waltz in and claim a title, Jasmine. Because you don't know the weight of history, the complexity of relationships, or the depth of loyalty. You think audacity alone can win hearts. You're about to learn otherwise." Kirk's shoulders sagged, the tension almost too much to bear. "Rasheeda, Jasmine, I didn't plan for this to become a public spectacle." Public spectacle?" Jasmine interrupted sharply, her voice slicing through the room like a knife. "Kirk, every moment is public. Every glance, every whisper, every decision, fans, friends, the world, they are watching. And if history is to be witnessed, it must be seen clearly, boldly, and without hesitation." Rasheeda's eyes blazed, a storm of emotion raging within her. "Boldness without respect is nothing, Jasmine. Words without integrity are empty. You may have declared yourself Mrs. Kirk, but you have yet to prove that you can navigate the depth of love, loyalty, and trust that I have cultivated over years." Jasmine's smirk faltered for the briefest of moments before she regained composure. "And yet, here I am. Present, unwavering, and undeniable. The world will watch. Fans are already shocked, intrigued, captivated. Every move you make, Rasheeda, only adds fuel to the fire. And trust me, they are loving every second of it." The words seemed to hang in the room, almost tangible, igniting sparks that threatened to ignite further emotional conflagration. Kirk's hands ran through his hair, frustration and panic mingling in a visible storm across his features. "Please, this has gone too far. We are supposed to be a family, not a battlefield." Rasheeda's voice dropped, sharp and controlled. "Family, Kirk, is not about blind loyalty. It's about truth, integrity, and respect. And right now, Jasmine's actions are testing all three." Jasmine, unconcerned, leaned slightly closer, her voice smooth yet cutting. "Testing boundaries is often necessary to reveal true strength, Rasheeda. And I am unafraid of strength, conflict, or challenge. The world respects action, not hesitation. I am acting, claiming, and asserting my place. That is power, and that is clarity." A heavy silence fell over the room. Staff and friends shifted uncomfortably, aware that one misstep, one word, one glance could trigger an eruption of emotion so powerful that it might permanently alter the relationships within the household. Fans online, glued to live updates, were dissecting every moment, every blink, every subtle flicker of emotion. Tweets, live comments, and reactions surged like a digital storm, amplifying the intensity inside the room tenfold. Rasheeda's chest heaved as she drew a deep breath, steadying herself for the battle that had moved beyond words into the territory of raw emotional confrontation. "You may have the world watching, Jasmine. You may have audacity and courage. But courage without empathy, without understanding, without heart, what is that really worth? You may claim the present, but the past, the bonds, the loyalty, those cannot simply be erased by your proclamations." Jasmine's eyes glittered, a mixture of amusement and calculation. Bonds, loyalty, past. All these things are transient, if not nourished and recognized in the present. I am here, in the now, acting boldly, and the world, fans, even Kirk, they are all witnesses, and being a witness is the first step in accepting truth. Kirk's frustration boiled over, his voice rising sharply. "Stop. Enough. You're turning this into a circus. None of this is helping anyone." Jasmine, unfazed, let out a soft, almost imperceptible laugh. "Circus? Perhaps. But spectators enjoy drama. Kirk, they thrive on tension, confrontation, and revelation. And this is pure, undeniable spectacle. Rasheeda, sensing the shift in dynamics and the increasing polarization of attention, straightened her posture, her gaze locked onto Jasmine with unyielding intensity. Spectacle is fleeting, Jasmine. People forget theatrics, they forget bold declarations. But they remember integrity, loyalty, and love. And those, my dear, are unassailable. The room seemed to vibrate with tension, each word, each glance, a spark threatening to ignite a blaze of confrontation. Fans, friends and family alike were caught in the whirlwind, unsure whether to intervene, support, or simply watch as history unfolded. And just as the atmosphere reached a fever pitch, a new player entered the scene, a family insider, who had remained silent until now. Stepping forward with a revelation so explosive it threatened to upend every assumption, every alliance, and every plan. "There's more you all need to know," the insider said, voice trembling yet firm. "Something that Kirk hasn't shared. Something that could change everything." Every eye turned instantly, the room falling into a tense hush. Kirk's face drained of color, the weight of hidden truths pressing down. Jasmine's smirk faded for a moment, curiosity sparking in her gaze, a hint of unease flickering across her otherwise composed demeanor. Rasheeda's pulse quickened, adrenaline mixing with emotion. As she prepared herself for whatever explosive information was about to surface, fans online erupted, live streaming and dissecting every micro-expression, every subtle inflection, every pause. Alliances were being silently tested, loyalties silently questioned, and hearts braced for the emotional impact of revelations that threatened to rewrite the narrative entirely. The insider's words cut through the tension like a knife. Kirk has been hiding more than feelings. There are decisions, actions, and choices made without the knowledge of the rest of the family, decisions that involve both Jasmine and Rasheeda, and which will have long-term consequences. The room froze. Rasheeda's eyes blazed, her mind racing to comprehend the magnitude. Jasmine's composed exterior flickered, the first crack in her armor. Kirk's hands shook slightly, the burden of concealed truths pressing heavily upon him. What do you mean?" Rasheeda demanded, her voice taut with anticipation. The insider continued, lowering their voice as though each word carried the potential to ignite further chaos. "There are contracts, financial decisions, and personal promises, choices that may benefit Jasmine in the short term but could have unforeseen consequences for all of you. And fans are already picking up hints. The online world is a storm waiting to crash." Gasps rippled through the room. The air thickened, almost suffocating, charged with fear, anticipation, and the electric pulse of scandal. Jasmine's smile was gone, replaced by a flicker of calculation as she processed the implications. Contracts, promises, unforeseen consequences. "Tell me everything," she said, her voice steady but edged with intensity. Rasheeda, though shocked, felt a surge of clarity. The battle was no longer just words. It was now about strategy, consequences, and the unraveling of secrets. Every move would matter, every decision carried weight, and the next moments would define not only who stood unshaken but also who was left vulnerable, exposed, and forever changed. Fans online were glued to updates, the narrative growing increasingly complex, dramatic, and impossible to ignore. The storm had escalated beyond confrontation into a maelstrom of intrigue, revelation, and suspense. And as the room held its collective breath, waiting for the next explosive disclosure, one undeniable truth emerged. Nothing in this household, nothing in this story, and nothing in the hearts of those involved would ever remain the same. Every glance, every word, every secret carried the potential to ignite another chapter of unrelenting drama, ensuring that fans, friends, and family alike would remain riveted, caught in the whirlwind of emotion, power, and ambition that defined this extraordinary moment. And just when you thought the drama couldn't get any more intense, the story takes an even more shocking turn, Jasmine boldly declaring, "Rasheeda, step aside, I'm Mrs. Kirk now," leaving fans around the world completely stunned. Emotions ran high, hearts broke, and the family was left divided as alliances were tested. Secrets threatened to spill, and every move felt like a ticking time bomb. Who will ultimately claim Kirk's heart? Can Rasheeda hold her ground against Jasmine's audacious claims? Fans are debating fiercely online, dissecting every glance, every word, every whispered promise, as the tension escalates beyond anything you've ever seen. Every twist, every betrayal, every shocking revelation is being magnified in real time, keeping viewers on the edge of their seats. You don't want to miss a single moment of the explosive confrontations, the unexpected surprises, and the emotional roller coaster that unfolds as loyalties clash and hearts are tested. Dive into the drama, witness the arguments, the confrontations, and the secrets that could change everything forever. Watch now, and see for yourself why everyone is talking about this unforgettable showdown. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Who do you think will come out on top in this ultimate battle of love, loyalty, and ambition? The tension is palpable, the stakes are higher than ever, and the story is far from over. Click play and experience the full spectacle. You'll be hooked from start to finish, and the twists will leave you absolutely speechless.